Welcome to Praying Through the Bible, number 27, a prayer of forgetfulness. Exodus 14. The 10 plagues are over, devastating Egypt economically and emotionally. Israel marches out in glory, Exodus 12, verse 37 and 51. They march into freedom after 430 years of slavery, to the day. Chapter 12, verse 41. Think about that. To the very day, as some translations put it, just by itself, Pharaoh setting them free, to the very day shows God's hand. Israel didn't choose the day. Appearances say Pharaoh chose the day. The reality is God chose the day. In addition, as amazing as any plague, their Savior appears in a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, guiding them to the Red Sea. Chapter 13, verse 21. God's presence is everywhere. God didn't even forget the first day of slavery. How could Israel forget how they became free? The Hebrews' God is not yet finished with Egypt and her gods. What God has planned for Egypt to bring him glory, Satan, the unnamed and present adversary, uses to tempt Israel to forget. The hard-hearted divine Pharaoh forgets he can't win and hunts down his slaves to his destruction. As the Egyptian warriors pursue, chapter 14, verse 7, the Israelites look up. Then the Israelites were terrified and cried out to the Lord for help, chapter 12, verse 10. And I'm thinking as I'm reading this, finally, Israel is relying upon God, full of faith, confident in his power to deliver. But I forgot that Israel forgot. What did they forget? First, they forget God's power. They are full of fear because their eyes see and their minds forget. If at the stroke of midnight, again, notice time, their God had mysteriously killed the firstborn in every household, from the throne to the prisons to the fields, then they should know better than to doubt God's power against Pharaoh's power. Chapter 12, verses 29 through 30. Second, they forget God's love. Being terrified fills them with doubt. After 10 curses or plagues of diseases, devastations, and scourges, after miraculously being protected from these plights, chapter 8, 22 through 23, chapter 10, verse 21, and chapter 11, verse 7, how could Israel doubt God's love that he would finish what he started? Do we? Philippians chapter 1, verse 6. Doubt is not only the lack of belief, it is the substitution of an opposing belief. I'm going to say that one again. Doubt is not only the lack of belief, it is the substitution of an opposing belief. Israel doubted God's continued protection and therefore believed in their doom. Third, they forget Moses is just a servant. Blaming him exposes their hearts. Listen to what they say. Are there no graves in Egypt? What have you done to us? Isn't this what we told you? Leave us alone. It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians. They will repeat that. Chapter 14, verses 11 through 12. They didn't forget to show ingratitude. How Moses answers them and calms them should have been their prayer. Let me rewrite it for us. Almighty Yahweh, we are not afraid. Remembering your power and love, we stand firm and wait to see your salvation, knowing you will provide for us today, that you will fight for us. In faith, we wait and remain silent. Chapter 14, 13 through 14. Israel doesn't pray that. Such could have been Moses' prayer, but his prayer is unrecorded. What is recorded is Moses crying out to Yahweh, chapter 14, verse 15. I will admit I am surprised by God's response to Moses. Why are you crying out to me? That's what God says. Doesn't God want us to pray? Or maybe Moses' unrevealed prayer is too much like the complaint of the Israelites. Could it be God is saying, stop praying and start preparing? Despite their hard-hearted forgetfulness, Israel walks on dry land through the sea, which then swallows up their enemies. And the people feared the Lord and believed in him and his servant Moses, chapter 14, verse 31. But Israel will forget again. That I remember. What is our prayer challenge? Remember times when we have forgotten God's power and love. And then look to today. And then pray the rewritten prayer that I said earlier, personalizing it. Start praying. This has been Praying Through the Bible. Number 27, a prayer of forgetfulness. This has been a blessing to you. Please share and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.